Hi there, welcome back to That Mom. I'm so glad you decided to join me again today. Today we are going to jump right in and I am bringing you a budget update. It has been a long time since I've talked about my budget with you, and I will post those videos below. So this will be my second budget update and my third budget video. And so if you're interested in checking out the other two, then I'll put them in the description. But I do, just so you have a little bit of an idea, I am on a Dave Ramsey budget, and so it's kind of like a cash-based budget, and there's lots of steps that you're trying to achieve throughout. And so I'm just going to kind of share with you how it's going. So we have been doing working our budget for about almost a year. I think it's been like 11 months, and I love it. I have to be honest with you. It has been so freeing. I love it. So I would highly suggest or encourage you, if you're not already on a budget, to try to put yourself on one. You can absolutely do it. I thought, oh my goodness, it's gonna be so much work. And in the beginning it is, but it really becomes such a habit, and now I just absolutely love it. And I would encourage everyone to be on a budget. So a couple things that I usually get asked when I make a budget video is, do I continually tithe and give while I'm on a budget and trying to pay off debt? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So my husband and I absolutely continue to tithe to our church, and we also like to participate in other giving opportunities that the church provides, and we also have where we sponsor a child, and that's part of our giving also. And so it's really important for us to continue to do that, and to me it's a non-negotiable. So I always get asked that, so I thought I would definitely just clear that up right off the bat. So a couple things I want to share with you. One is that we had a great victory this year with our budget. We were able to pay cash for our family vacation to Disneyland. As you may know, if you subscribe to my channel, I no longer live close to my parents and brother and sister and whatnot, and so we like to meet in Disneyland on my brother's spring break, and so we were able to do that again. This is our second year doing that with Gabby, and we were able to pay cash for that vacation. So that was amazing. That was so freeing, to go on a vacation and not to be paying for the vacation when I come home, but for it to just be like done. I didn't have to pay a credit card bill for it or whatnot. That was really great, and we actually were able to bring some money home to start saving for our next vacation. So that was a great victory for our budget. So let's see what else. Okay, so I wanted to give you this point because this is where I am struggling in my budget, and not significantly, but what is hard for me is the grocery part of the budget. I don't know if it's just I'm like hungry or I'm a foodie or what it is, but I seem to go over the food budget pretty often. Sometimes I don't, but for the most part I do, if I'm being honest. So here are a couple tips that I have been trying that have been helping, that I'm going to give you if you also have a hard time with your grocery budget. So one would be, you absolutely have to meal plan. Now this I do, no problem. I still sometimes go over, but it definitely helps me to not go over as much as I sit down, and I for sure have planned out like dinners for each night, and we do eat leftovers. I actually love leftovers, especially since I have a little one, because I'm like, it's so much easier. But I meal plan, and I try to make sure that, okay, so if I'm going to use like our diet, but what we eat is heavily like vegetable based. We use a lot of veggies and fresh food in our eating, and so if I'm going to be using like a certain amount of veggies one night, I try to make sure that those veggies will also be able to be incorporated in whatever else we're eating, so that nothing goes in the garbage, because that drives me crazy, and so that I can use everything and not have to buy as much. Does that make sense? So hopefully it does. So that's what I do for that. And then, so I use Pinterest to look up a lot of recipes. And then I also always make sure to incorporate a couple simple meals. So whether that's like sandwiches or something really easy, like tortillas wrapped with, and putting like avocado and veggies and meat in them or whatever. Stuff that's easy to make, that takes like 15 minutes max, that's in the fridge. So you're not, one, going out and blowing up your restaurant budget, and two, that way you have inexpensive stuff to eat at home. So those are a couple tips for that. And then another tip I have would be to calculate through the store. So have either a calculator or your phone, since most of us have phones that have calculators, and just calculate as you're putting stuff in the basket how much your spending. That way you're not like totally surprised when you get to the register, and you'll kind of know, okay, you know what, it's time for me to start wrapping it up because I'm getting close to my the number that I want to stay at. And another tip I have for the grocery store is go by yourself. Now, obviously, I know that's not always possible, but I find that if, and this is no offense to my hubby, he actually said the other day, yeah, you probably spend more when I go with you, and I hadn't even thought about it. But it's true, because he's like, hey, let's have that, hey, let's have that, and it's not really on the list, and it's not that it's a necessity, but of course, I mean, why not? Throw it in the basket, throw it in the basket. And even with Gabby, same thing. Mommy, can we get that? Mommy, can we get that? So usually I do have Gabby with me, but if not, it always seems like I spend less when I go by myself, and especially I would think you would spend less if you have like grown children that are going with you, like, you know, elementary, junior high, high school. I'm sure they want to throw stuff in there too. So maybe going by yourself would help kind of one, relieve stress, and two, help you stick to that budget. So those are my tips for that. I would highly encourage you to think about or pray about going on a budget. I think it's been so freeing for us that I would encourage everyone to. I hope that this video was helpful. Check out the other videos below if you're interested. Thank you for sticking with me in my budget journey, and I'll catch you next time at That Mom. Bye!